And we're back here on SportsLine. Phone line still open, 737-7767. If you'd like to get on the conversation tonight, we are talking the NFL. We are breaking down college football games as well. Just talked about the Alabama-Ole Miss game coming up this weekend in Oxford. A couple other huge games involving top 5 teams this weekend as well. We'll get to those in a few moments. But first, Bob has been waiting on the line. Bob, we appreciate that. Hello.
Yeah, I appreciate throwing. It's been pretty good so far. But like with the Titans, the only reason they lost was those turnovers. That keeps happening in the second quarter. They look good the first half. And but those turnovers just wiped them out.
Yep.
And as far as the other games, they're doing good, but it reminds me of a time back in, I think it was 1970s or something, when they reduced the number of NFL teams because they were cussing each other on the field. You know, they were taping that, and it was just pretty wild, gaming and freaking each other out. You know, I don't know if they're doing that again. They shouldn't, but there's been enough problem and troubles with the teams, the special teams. You know, you can't, you know, use a sportscaster are probably interested in that. But anyway, they're doing pretty good so far, but, you know, they got to produce and win some games, or it'll just be the same remake.
Yep, that is the problem, and we appreciate the call, Bob, is unfortunately for all the changes, and I think this is a different Titans team. I think Marcus Mariota can be the future. I think that this running game is now something that has to be reckoned with by every defense in the league that will face the Titans. I think it's that good. I think the offensive line is better. I think they have weapons now at wide receiver. Tajay Sharp had a really good game on Sunday in his debut. 7 catches for 76 yards. And Mike Mularkey talking yesterday says he didn't run his routes deep enough for the most part. He did all that and didn't even really do his job. Just imagine, he can get better from here. And you had other guys. Rashard Matthews made some catches. Delanie Walker didn't have as big of a day as he maybe is accustomed to having, but still had 3 catches for 42 yards. You throw Andre Johnson in the mix. I think this can be a pretty good offense, but they've got to avoid those turnovers. I think the defense showed that it can be a top 10 type of defense this year in the NFL with the way they played on Sunday. But again, it's about the mistakes. Sometimes winning football games is about just not killing yourself. Just don't do the bad thing. It's not always about making the special play or the highlight reel. But just, as we talked about earlier, Vanderbilt playing Georgia Tech in the triple option, just do your job. If you do your job in the simple things, you make the check down, you block the right guy, you're a sure tackling team. If you do those things, more times than not, good things will happen. And the problem for the Titans on Sunday is in a game full of 60 or 70 plays, 90% of them or 95% of them, they looked like the better team. They were better at the line of scrimmage. They made more plays. They moved the ball more consistently. But unfortunately, in those 5 to 10% of plays that really ultimately decided the game, they made the catastrophic mistakes. The Vikings just played solid. Sean Hill didn't do anything spectacular at quarterback. Adrian Peterson couldn't really run the ball. But they didn't turn the ball over. They didn't blow any huge assignments. That's what you saw from the Titans on Sunday. Big return to start the second half, pick 6, fumble return for a touchdown. Those handful of plays are why the Vikings scored. They're why it was even a game in the first place, let alone the reason they won the game. If you clean that up, there's a chance to turn things around. Turnover is obviously a big part of the game. Turnover is a big part of my discussion after the game with Titan safety Rashad Johnson, who came in on the Electric Power Company Sunday Sports Central to help break down what happened in that season opening game. Here's our part of our conversation. We'll get to more of it throughout the night, but part of our conversation with the keys to the game and Rashad Johnson after the game Sunday. Time now for our Middle Tennessee Honda dealers keys to the game. And Rashad, I think the biggest takeaway today is that turnovers kill. The Vikings get 3 of them. You guys unable to force any.
Yeah, I mean, we know in this league turnovers are a big part. It's a huge percentage in who's going to win the game. Unfortunately, they were able to get 3, and we weren't able to get any. And it was a huge point in this game, huge turning point, and took the whole momentum out of the stadium.
The Vikings defense scoring 13 points directly off of those turnovers, and they needed all of them because your defense did the job holding their offense out of the end zone the entire day.
Yeah, I mean, we came in, we knew we had a tough task with Adrian Peterson. Their receivers on the outside with Steven Diggs and Kyle Rudolph at tight end. But I think we did a great job of swarming the ball. And when they did make passes up the field, we were able to make tackles as a secondary. So I think we did a really great job as the defense. There's some third downs that we would want back. But I think, overall, we were pretty happy with the day we had.
Lastly, I know you guys wanted the win today and believe that the future, everybody talks about the future, but you believe the future is now. But still, this is a team building the foundation. And I think we saw in the rookies today, Derrick Henry, Tajay Sharp, even your buddy in the secondary, Kevin Byard, there's something to build around there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We have a lot to build around. With these rookies here, Tajay Sharp had a big day, some big third down catches. Derrick Henry as well. Kevin played well in the secondary. But we also have a lot of things that we can build on just as a unit. If you look at this game that we had today, the turnovers were the things that separated the game. If you look at the yardage, if you look at the first downs, you look at the time of possessions, everything was even out. And I think it was a very close game. The turnovers, like you said, killed us the most. But as a Tennessee fan, as a Tennessee player, we have a lot of things that we can build on and grow with out of the positivity of this game.
I imagine the film session's going to sting, but at least this is one of those games where you know what to correct moving forward. Rashad, thank you.
Thank you.
Rashad Johnson in the studio on Sunday night after the loss by the Titans to Minnesota. There were some positives. There were some positives in what they did. Of course, a big disappointment that they were unable to pull the game out. We're going to take a break here. We will come back. We will, as promised, talk about some of the other big college football games this weekend. Also hear more from Rashad, some video breakdowns of what went wrong and what went right on Sunday. And we'll get his final take as well. Start looking ahead towards the Detroit game. And don't forget, Mo Patton coming up later on the show about 8:45 tonight to talk high school football. Another week here, week 4 of high school football. Some big matchups, some star players, some teams to watch for coming up on the season. We'll get to all that coming up as SportsLine continues here on News Channel 5+.